There we go.
Welcome to Sonderling Inc. episode 30. My name is Sam Leonard and I have some players. Let's start at the top.
Sorry. My name is Easeborn, and I'm playing Striggs, the Goblin Wizard.
I am Holocaust, playing a human fighter called Holocaust.
I'm Winter. I'm playing a human rogue called Horgold Wolfswift.
I am Vosk. I am playing Vergerus, the high elf sorcerer.
I'm Sutter playing the Kobold Ranger Gruntho.
All right, who wants to give a recap? What happened last time?
Don't look at me, I wasn't here.
Well,
We were in Auckland. We packed up our ship. We got a shipment. We got provisions, and we trailed down to the big city of Kirsch that only me and Holocron knows, and dropped off our shipment, and basically, well, talked about how we are going to recruit our people. Did I forget something? It sounds so short.
I was lost in the city. That's what I know.
We split
went into
up
this.
4 ways, 5 ways.
No less than 4 ways.
Always good to split up the party.
It's just great.
I think everyone went their own direction, basically.
Yep. And we left off with one kobold surrounded by several people. So we will pick right back up there. So Grunthos, you see a bar just to your right, looks promising, and you see no less than 5 people with there's a couple of orcs, or a couple of half orcs, several humans, and a female half elf. Everybody else is male, and they're just kind of casually strolling up to you. You can tell they're with each other, I guess. They're kind of wearing the same sort of outfits, not as strongly aligned as, say, Anya's footmen were, but definitely similar clothing.
I take note of them being there and go for a drink.
As you head towards the bar, one of the half orcs steps into the doorway, blocking your path, and says, Kevin, you're not getting away from us this time.
Who is this Kevin?
Don't, and the half elf pipes up from behind you, don't play dumb. You're the only red kobold in this town. You feel a hand drop on your shoulder, from behind. You're not sure whom, and the person behind you goes to basically immobilize you.
I try to wrangle free and just yell out, I am not Kevin. I have just gone here. It is this the way to treat guests in this?
Okay. Oh, so let's cut away quick. So, Striggs, you have just arrived back at the boat, following a human, or at least young child, on the way back. Horgold, you're strolling back as well, getting ready to set up, getting the boat or the ship unloaded. Vergeros, you are on the ship. They left you behind.
Perfect for me.
So you see Striggs coming out of like a dark hole in a wall. You didn't even notice the hole was there before. And you see Horgold being followed by a couple people coming down in a side alleyway as well.
Do the peoples look happy? Or
They look like the way Horgold is acting. They look like they're following him on purpose. Like he doesn't seem worried by the people behind him. They're not
Okay.
trailing him like they're not trailing him like they're sneaking him. They're trailing him like, where's your boat? Horgold, as you get closer, one of them points to the what you guys call this ship now? The
Knight's Tale?
The Knight's Tale, and goes, they're on board there?
Yep.
All right, we'll get her unloaded. If you want to have your people bring the crates up to the deck, we'll get them off your hand, get you paid.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll just haul crates up.
Yep.
And I look around for any help from my friends.
I'm helping.
I'll be helping as well.
All right. So Hollock, you are returning from visiting with your companion friend. Can't think of his name. Guard buddy.
My God.
And you're on one of the main roads heading back to the Knight's Tale. And you see a scuffle ongoing on a side street. Most of the way back. You're still not quite down to the docks district. You're inside the first main wall, but scuffles ongoing, and you hear a familiar voice yelling out, "I have told you I'm not Kevin. Come on, leave me alone."
I break into a sprint and head towards.
All right. Judging what you know about the city, the layout, and everything else here, you don't think a shout would make it all the way to your ship. Like if you wanted to summon backup. But I don't know if you have Whisper or not. But you see Grunthos. He's got probably 4 people trying to hold him down. Okay, Grunthos, question for you: how lethal are you willing to get with these people? They're not. They haven't drawn weapons on you, but they are definitely trying to hold you down. And you're making you're smaller than them and you're stronger than them, and but there's more of them than you.
These teeth are made for biting. Let's put it that.
So, Hollock, you hear one of them scream out, "Son of a diddly! He bit me! You're," and he rears back to punch you.
While running up, I try to see if no, that's not the right word. So check out how dangerous they appear. That's not the plan.
Give me insight, Hollock. Give yourself advantage because you were a guard. Give you a just straight D20 plus. We're gonna roll with that, but it's not gonna do that. Okay. You no, I didn't want to do that. Go back. I know there's a way to do this. I don't. Why do I not see? All right, so you don't think they look super dangerous. Grunthos. 20. Ooh, that is a critical hit. Punches you in the side of the head for D4 points of stun. You take 3 points of stun damage. I don't know if that's even a thing in D&D anymore, but
It's not a thing.
it's not a thing. Well, you take 3 points of damage from his punch.
That is a thing.
Yeah. And Holoc Hall, you plow into the back of one of these guys and knock him over. All right, we're gonna have to go with initiative at this point. So give me a roll, please, you two. All right, so Zerder, you're up, then them, then Holoc.
So I'm guessing they've actually got me grappled.
Yeah, they're yes, I would say they have you grappled at this point.
So question.
Yes.
How does movement work when I'm being grappled?
So I think you have to break free of the grapple in order to walk or move anywhere. If you want to do some other form of special movement, we can figure out how that works from there.
Because I have a pointy stick that gives me a very appropriate ability.
Yes, you have a pointy stick that gives you very appropriate ability. I tell you what, make a dexterity save to get the thing out without them knocking it out of your hand. Or strength, actually give you strength. Because you're trying to draw it while they're trying to hold you down. Strength save, 16. Yeah, that's good enough. Hold on, I should probably actually roll that opposed. No, actually it's not good enough. No, yeah, it is. Tie goes to you. So, because they got a +0 on their strength. So, you get your pointy stick out. Where are you headed with this rocket jump? Up, down, left, right, or sideways?
20 feet away from where they're holding me, from where Holoc came running from.
Okay. So we got 4 guys on you. He doesn't hold on. He doesn't hold on. He doesn't hold on. And he doesn't hold on. All right. So you blast free of the 4 holding you down 20 feet down the alley. So you blast yourself free, like they're all butt over tea kettle on the ground. It is their turn. Let's see. You hear the half elf swear. Look at Holoc, and then like she disappears in a puff of. She moves real fast. The other 5 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them start running down another street. You guys can see where they're going pretty easily. One of them kind of disappears into a side alley. You lose track of them, and one of them, you're not sure which one, yells back, "Kevin, we'll get you when your friends aren't around. You watch out." And the street is quiet. You guys are all alone. Well, other than the people who are watching. You hear a small round of applause. Because rocket jump. But the people around seem mostly unfazed by this whole bit.
Bussing thugs think I'm Kevin? Who is this Kevin? And
What was this all about, Grantos?
I have no idea. These guys came trapping me and calling me Kevin?
Drink?
Many drinks. I go into the bar.
I follow him.
All right, you two head into the bar. Horgold, you and Vergeros and Striggs get the ship unloaded.
Can I use some spell slots for it? With Tensor's floating disk, easy to transport stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, that absolutely works.
Description anyway.
Takes you probably, well, with the help of magic, probably 20 minutes to maybe a half an hour to get everything unloaded. And
That's only one cast.
Yeah. The guy kind of looks over the bolts of cloth. And Horgold, you can tell he's investigating a little deeper down in, but he's trying to be subtle about it. But he's like, yep, everything looks good, and he tosses you a small bag of gold. Or sorry, brass.
A small bag? How much is in it?
What you're expecting? 300?
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Okay, it weighs what, 6 pounds? So it's not that small, but I suppose.
Well, I look at my fellow people here. I say, welcome to Kirsch. Let's get something to drink and eat.
I like the drinking idea.
Well, if you lead me, I don't want to get lost again.
Okay, this is gonna be a little bit of a chance game, I guess. I'm going to the nearest pub that I know, which is not low class. It should be still like, I don't want to go too into high class. I want it to be barley and you know, comfy, but not every 5 minutes there's a bar fight.
Right.
Kind of.
Not the Sailor bars. For the purposes of getting the party back together, as you guys are walking past, walking into town, Horgold, you're leading the way. However, you're leading the way. You catch Grunthos yelling something about Kevin as you walk past the bar. Like the door opens up. You hear hear Grunthos' voice yell something about Kevin, and then the door closes, and yeah.
Then I'll go in, of course.
This place is one step above the dive bars of the docks. It's people here are drinking. They take their drink seriously, but they're not the people who are like only drinking because they want to get as drunk as fast as possible, and they're not the group of, hey, we just got it off a boat that we've been on for 3 months. Let's bring on the ale and women of disreputable reputation and the men of disreputable reputation. These are people who are here because it's the evening enough. It's time for work to get off. They've come in for a drink and a meal.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted.
Grunthos is at the bar yelling at the bartender, demanding to know who Kevin is and where to find him. No matter how much the bartender would say he doesn't know any Kevin or does not know where he is. He's just yelling drunkenly.
Bartender is setting down drinks in front of you, and says, "Well, for the third time, I haven't seen Kevin in 2 weeks. Also, the Kevin I know shipped out on a ship like 2 weeks ago. Also, he wasn't a kobold." But he's plopping down drinks in front of you as fast as you're drinking them.
I ask what's about this thing with Kevin at the Grunt.
Some people were ambushing me outside here, thinking I'm Kevin. I'm not Kevin. I'm Grunto.
Did you recognize that?
It's my first time in the city. How could I recognize anybody?
You'll never know from somewhere else.
Did I recognize something?
I haven't been here in ages, so I don't know.
Give me just a roll of D20 luck. See, those of you who have been in town before, Hollick and Horgold. So nope, you don't know a Kevin by any description, Hollick, that matches Grunthos's ramblings. Also,
Did I notice something on the people when I charged in? That this makes them somehow recognizable if he by chance meets them again?
You think you would recognize their clothes? They were definitely wearing like a gang outfit type thing. So, it's kind of you were a guard for a long time. These were like gang colors for this part of the city. Not specifically this territory, but this was, like they all had probably a gray bandana is not the right some piece of gray cloth tied to their person somewhere, and they were all wearing like leather armor and leather pants, and they carried like small swords and various like clubs and that sort of thing. So think low level toughs for somewhere in the docks area. Give me roll your guard profession.
Which one is that?
Just a D20.
No, there's
Intelligence based, I guess.
I thought we gave you an actual like not skill, but no, maybe not. So roll your intelligence and add your BD proficiency bonus.
Everyone or
No, just Hollick.
Okay.
Since he was a guard in town. Holy yes. So you absolutely recognize this group. They base themselves in the dock area, basically down here. You guys are currently let's see that there. You guys are currently just inside the gate here at a bar. So their territory is basically the inside area here. They are what is their street name? Brain fart. They are no, they're the Greys. We'll go with that. So they like the low level thugs wear like the tied on gray piece of cloth. Like the higher level people would be in like a gray blouse or nice shirt, and higher ranking of clothing, but definitely you would see that same color scheme on them. So you recognize them. They are the people who keep this the section of here like under control, and the guards, they do not nice things, but they keep the populace calm, and so the guards don't have to go there and like put down riots or take care of murders or anything like that, because that's all handled by the street thugs in that part of town. Judging by what was going on, you're thinking Kevin probably owes somebody something. All right. As the evening wears on, the bar starts filling up. The food here is not good, but there's a lot of it. Kinda, yes, Horgold. So their food here isn't great, but there's a lot of it. It's some sort of like barley stew. You think some piece of meat maybe waved at it at one point in its history. Plenty of salt and black pepper, though. Few very insipid vegetables. And as the evening wears on, Hollock, you think it's getting close to time for your guard friend to get off of work. Otherwise, the evening wears on. What you guys up to?
I'm just currently gonna eat and rest.
I'm just happy sipping my drink.
Gruntos, being very drunk, is starting to mumble something about finding Kevin. Looking like he's trying to go outside.
Kevin or Kevin?
Kevin.
Okay.
If he's going outside, I will go back to the ship and trying to get Gruntos back with me as well. Just
Okay.
sleep it off and we'll find Kevin tomorrow, Gruntos. Tomorrow we can get some intel.
When the Horgold and Horgold and Gruntos get up, I say to them, guys, I have to meet an old friend to get some intel on the city. What happened here while we were gone? Meet you back at the ship later and head out.
Do you want to go along? Otherwise, maybe I kind of whispered a little bit to you that Gruntos doesn't. Maybe we can trick Gruntos to go with us because he's drunk.
Might be a smart idea.
I don't mind the company.
Gruntos, we have a hook into the guards. Maybe he got information about Kevin.
Ooh. Where? Show me.
All right, everybody going along with? Or
Yes.
All right. You guys head into town. It's full dark.
Wait. Before we leave, I pay the bill.
It's for what you guys ate and drank, it's probably 2 bronze pieces.
Okay. Just to be sure that they don't come after us because we didn't pay.
Right. You guys head the bar that you're headed to is just outside of the government district. It's about half-hour walk to get there. as you guys get closer and closer, you know, definitely those of you who aren't familiar with town see like chainmail and helmets and swords and shields and just kind of jovially walking together in groups, and a couple of them are headed into the bar. Precede you. As you guys enter, you kind of get that everybody in the bar is wearing like chainmail and armor and weapons and stuff, and they all kind of look you over because you don't look like guards. But after a few moments, shoot, what's his name? Yes. He chipes up, Haluk, you brought your friends. Good. Come, sit. I have drinks for everyone. And he holds his hand up, like 5 fingers, and one of the barmaids comes by with ale and plonks down on the table, and he's sitting at one of the back tables. He's like shoves a couple of them together to make enough room for everybody.
I'll make sure to drop like a gold in the middle of the table as contribution to the group pot for drink.
Oh, I got nice that you made it. These are my friends and crewmates. And the little one is called Grantos. He's a bit upset at the moment, so stay clear.
I'm also quite small, just so you know.
Yeah, and the other small one is more bookish kind. He's called Strix. Then we have my fellow human compatriot is called Horgold. And the tall one here is Vijos. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Well met,
It's
friends.
fine.
So, it's good to have you. It's good to have you back, Holic. There's been some changes in town since you were gone, but no, it's about tonight's eat, drink, be merry. For tomorrow we might be eaten by a dragon. He looks down at Granthos.
And I grin back as I take a sip from it.
Changes? Good? Bad? Or both?
It's a mix of both. It's not often you get to see a giant. I mean, it wasn't often you get to see a giant golden figure sitting upon a regal throne of her own making, making judgments. But you know, I guess that's Tuesday now, so it's fine.
A golden giant what?
Dragon.
You actually saw a real dragon.
She's big. Like you don't have any idea how big she just big.
Wait, were we talking about a fire dragon when we came here, Magda?
That's her name. He kind of looks at you with surprise. That's her name. How did you know?
Well, we were kind of looking for her.
Well, you found the right city.
Thankfully.
Hey, do you know someone named Kevin that looks like me?
He looks down at you. I know some kobolds. I don't think any of them are named Kevin, and they're mostly blue. Or bluer than you. They have a definite. He kind of asides to Holic and Horgold. They're okay. So their skin's not really blue, but they say they trace their ancestry back to a blue dragon. So I don't want to tell them they're wrong.
Let's not provoke the fictional characters, right? Well,
No, to answer your question, I don't know of a kobold named Kevin who looks like you. I'm sorry.
What happened to the rest of the guard crew? Lots of new faces, few old faces that I recognize.
Not everybody's like the changes. It's a little harder to make. He kind of winks at you. Kind of harder to make a living sometimes, but I don't know. Feels more honest work. There's less. There's he takes a sip of his drink. There's less taxes, and he kind of air quotes. You can kind of hear the air quotes drop in around that, and more like actual taxes. My salary's gone up a little bit. But not everybody was happy about the fact that the side jobs that they had, they're no longer able to do those. I think it's a lot better though. I really do think having guards who are guards rather than guards who are, shaking down the populace is to me a good thing, and that's why I stayed on. Not everybody agreed.
Understandably. So it's a lot more secure now in Kirsch?
Yes. Fewer disappearances. Trade slowed down because Kartuk put in a temporary trade ban when Magda took over, but she flew off, was gone for about 2 weeks, and came back, and the trade opened back up. That was like a year ago now. Wow. Okay. But no, it's been good. And yeah, like I said, Tuesday she's out on a brass throne of her own making, giving judgments and holding court. I mean, like, judge court, not court. You understand.
Every Tuesday.
Yes, every Tuesday. Something about getting the feel of the city.
Can we get an audience with Magda? Because we got some information we want to try.
You probably can. I think she has a pretty busy schedule. I don't know. I mean, I don't know her schedule. I'm just a gate guard. He smiles. But if you ask, I'm sure that there are ways to get an audience with her. I'm not sure what her audience days are, really. But Tuesday, I guess, talk to the court clerk, or go into the government district and ask. Pretty much anybody can probably give you some more information. At least if they work for the city.
What district was that again?
He points through. You guys can see the
That's not what I wanted to do.
He points out the front windows of the bar at a gate now closed. He's like the city government district. He through that gate, and then basically most of the non-house buildings in there are what run this place. Kind of scratches his head, looks at you a little bit again, and then shrugs and orders another round of drinks. Drinks are a heavy oatmeal stout. I think stout's the right term. So you can almost chew the beer in this place.
At least make sure we have a decent meal inside as well.
Food here is like ham and wheat bread and vegetables, and so the sort of thing you can make into a sandwich and walk out the door with. And the bartender is keeping everybody supplied with drinks, and other than your table, there's not a lot of chatting going on.
Why is everyone so quiet? How expensive is the beer here? Is it like how much gold would it take me to treat everyone in the pub?
Judging by the crowd and how much you've been paying, probably 3 gold or 3 brass rather would supply everybody with a round of drinks.
Well, why everyone's so quiet? Here, have a drink on me. And
There's a small chorus of yay. And oh shoot, I will. Halgar tips his mug at you and says some people come here to forget their day, others come here to forget their life. Some just come here to have a nice drink with companionship. City this size, you've seen every variety of human, the insides and the outsides of the best and the worst of the humans and the halves and the elves and the goblins and the kobolds. And yeah, sometimes you need to just have a drink at a bar and not think about your life for a little while.
I guess a little cheery can be a thing that's like helps you for cope. A bit of cheer.
The the barkeep notices you down there after a moment, Grunthos, and kind of leans over the bar, noticing your quizzical look.
Do you know Kevin? Looks like me.
I know Kevin. He points to one of the guys down the far end of the bar.
No, looks like me, Kevin.
And he shakes his head.
Where's Kevin?
All right.
How late is it?
Probably 10:30 or 11 at this point. Not super late, but definitely getting on in the evening. There's you guys have noticed there's just kind of a light background music playing, and there's no like obvious source for it. It's just kind of fills the room so that it doesn't like silence. Right.
Or gold.
What?
Kevin's not here.
Yeah, let's get back to the ship and try to maybe find him tomorrow, Grunthos.
I'm helping Horgold with helping Grunthos.
Grunthos is small enough that you don't have to do that kind of have a person lean on you drunk walk. You can just kind of each get a hand underneath an armpit and half carry him. Yeah, his feet don't need to touch the ground, but he is that stumble fall down drunk at this point. All right. And today is
I asked Strix to cast the nice disc that he used on the ship.
Yeah, sure. I'll cast Tempest Loading this, and I'll load him onto it.
So Grunthos, you are loaded onto
500 pounds, so
Yeah. You're loaded onto floating disc, and yeah, you can stay on it. It gets kind of dished in the middle, so after a few minutes, give me a fortitude, constitution save, please.
who, me?
No, Grunthos. You rolled a 1. Grunthos. So Grunthos is snoring by the time you guys get back to Knight's Tale.
I rolled 6 first, but
It is the floating disc. It take you almost an hour to get here, so the floating disc is basically wearing off as you guys get to the ship, but you're able to drop Grunthos onto the deck gently. And yeah, you guys are back at the Knight's Tale. It's a quiet evening. You guys can hear like the sounds from 3 or 4 bars as ship's crews like sing shanties and get very messily drunk after having arrived in dock and gotten paid. And
Yeah, I'm gonna prep alarm on the deck and go to sleep.
All right. So
I'll do the same thing, but in front of my room as usual.
Ooh, double alarms. You guys set up your alarm. The evening passes without incident. It is. Did I ever establish? So here's a question: did I ever establish if the first day of the week is a Monday or a Tuesday? Or sorry, a Sunday or a Monday? Because I don't think I established that.
I haven't
I don't
heard
think
that, and that's
Okay, so we're gonna go
maybe
with
in the previous games.
possibly.
No.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's the first, so we're going to the second at this point, but I'm
Ye-
not sure which
Yes.
day of.
So I believe it will be the second at this point. And I'm gonna start the week on Monday, just because that makes sense in my brain. So the second would be Tuesday. If I'm wrong,
this-
then it will be a
Isn't it-
different day. Don't worry about it.
Isn't it different in this world because of the variable length of jet?
The first day of spring is always the first day of the year, and it is also if a week is like the end of jet, it might go Monday, Tuesday, Monday, because spring started.
So it's always on a Monday.
Yeah, the day of the week is always consistent. Like every month is 28 days long, so every month starts on the 1st, which is Monday, and ends on the 28th, which is Sunday.
And everybody hates the system because we got longer weeks and not longer weekends.
You could have. Nope, you're right. You never have a longer weekend.
Rip.
Most people, I mean, it's a
Let-
semi-medieval time. Most people work or like being Sunday or Monday, you're still
Actually,
working
you
both
have to
days.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But still,
having the evening off is already something like wow.
All right.
Is today the day that Magda is in?
Tuesday, he said.
Is it Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why the conversation was held, I think.
It is indeed why the conversation was held. He didn't tell you the time of day, but you're under the impression it's probably most of the day. Just by the conversation.
I'm gonna make some breakfast and also get some raw meat in there for Gruntos, like a really hearty feast for.
Grunthos, give me another Constitution save, please. Good night, dear sir. Okay, you wake up with a splitting headache. You have no idea why the name Kevin is running through your brain. You have, dry mouth and bright light hurts, and this is probably the worst hangover you've had in a while.
And then his door get kicked in because I got my hands full. Good morning, sunshine, and I put some food in front of him.
Not so loud.
Had too much fun last night, right? I'll see you on deck when you're ready.
Ooh, food.
Right. Breakfast is served. You guys are able to get whatever you want from shore. You no longer have to rely on the provisions you had been carrying along. You see, like, going along the sides of ships, you see like one guy yelling out, meat pies, hot, fresh, made from the finest pig. Get your meat pies right here. And he's got some sort of like trolley. He's got this association or assortment of pastry. Look like, well, meat pies on his thing. You can hear various other people like hawking hand food from the docks to the various ships.
Are these actual meat pies? Or do they smell like normal meat pies?
They do indeed. Finest.
Okay.
He comes up when you show and says, "Finest pork. Never had any finer pork than this. Sorry, finest pig. Never had any finer pig than this. Made by my grandma's secret recipe."
Okay. Doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Only 2 for a copper. That's cutting me own throat.
Wait, isn't it like way underpriced?
Don't worry about it, sir. Finest pig you've ever had.
I think I'll pass. I'll just
3
wait for
3 for a copper. Don't.
no.
You'll never have a finer one.
I mean, there's something like being not trustworthy anymore when you are going below a certain point.
4 for a copper.
It's like
Final price. Feed all your
Well,
friends for
you
1
already-
copper piece.
You already kind of fucked it for yourself.
He kind of gets frustrated a little bit at you, and closes his thing, and then heads back up. Meat pies, finest pig in Kirsch, made from good, honest oinks.
Do I feel any maliciousness coming from his voice while he's trying to sell? Do I believe him, basically?
Give me an insight roll.
Oh god. 17.
All right, so you are sure he is not he's not selling poison. You think that the definition of made from finest pig does not include necessarily made from pork. So then
Yeah.
skin and the stuff that the grinder has trouble turning into sausage.
Got it.
But if you're hungover and it's early morning and you got a guy hawking something at you, then well, it maybe tastes probably okay if you don't think about it too hard.
I'll notify Growth Boss. Hey, maybe it's something for you. You probably don't taste anything anyway.
He's busy yumming
All
down
right.
some breakfast into Horgo.
Well, I'll just leave him pass. Let him pass.
You definitely see as the guy goes on, some people pay him for some of his pastries, and some of them like struggle their way through it. you notice that after he's sold and distributed the food, he like heads with some clarity into the dock and then heads down a little ways further. Every once in a while, somebody gets something that they like spit out on the dock, and then they look around for him, but by then he's already gone. He's really good at selling the cheapest possible food to people who haven't run into him before.
Thank God.
All right. It's go ahead.
I'll ask the table if anyone wants to accompany me, if they can guide me towards the library. I could also maybe hire one of the little guys that I came back with. I'm thinking about, but hey.
I want to go to the library too, but I don't know the route.
Okay, so we're gonna find a guide.
Well, this is the only day that Magda is in town.
Might be smarter for you to go then. I'm not really good at talking to people.
Yeah, but if you don't show that up as a group, maybe it doesn't impress.
Yeah, you're right. We might want to do that first. What do you think?
Or at least
Gross?
ask for an audience, and then maybe it's like 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, no, we can still do our things.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. You guys gather up, head into town. The ship is... There are enough, like, city guards making sure nobody thieves from ships wandering around. And, well, Razvan's still on board. So, you guys feel pretty safe leaving the Nighttail behind as it is. It's a good... Well, it's about an hour walk. Especially with a somewhat hungover Grunthos trailing along after you guys. But a good hour 15 walk back to the main gate to the government district. As you guys get there, gates wide open. It's probably 9. We'll call it 9 o'clock in the morning, and in the main. So there is a practice ground, Horgold and Hollock. You guys are familiar. Just into the gate, and then like in this area right here, big open field where city guard or mercenary companies or whoever else can like practice field movement and like cover and all that sort of thing. And literally, like piled into the center of this area on a small like platform, you see a pile of brass, probably 4 feet high by probably, you don't know how wide, because you see piled on top of this pile of brass a huge, I think actually possibly gargantuan. I'm gonna actually look up her technical size. Gold dragon. She is metallic dragons. There we go. Not a dragon turtle. That's not adult. Huge. No, gargantuan. Yep. So, rough picture, something like that. You can see, like, there's definitely some, I guess you would say gray in her scales, but she is, gargantuan is what, 25 by 25, like 5, is it 5 squares by 5 squares?
Yeah, 25 by 25 is 5 by 5.
Okay, so I think it, yeah, gargantuan's 5 by 5, 25. So she's probably closer to, because dragons are long and narrower than that. She's probably closer to 35 feet long if you don't include her tail. bright bright gold scales, just a hint of gray, like dimmer scales, like on her face and on her flanks, and a surprisingly feminine voice for something like this large. And as you guys kind of are watching, she turns around, looks down, and says, "All right, next case. Please present yourselves. Please present yourself before your before me, and argue your case." And this like procedure, like she makes a judgment. Judgments vary from a fine of 10 brass, or even like one guy who looks fairly destitute, he gets a fine of like three copper pieces, and he looks relieved. And then, you know, somebody who looks like they have all the wealth in the world might be fined 1,000 brass. Various people come up. Some she sends to jail, others she reprimands without punishment, others she lets go. Basically, each person is given a chance to argue their case before her, and she seems to be well versed in each case as it's presented before her. Like nobody is presenting for the prosecution. It's all people defending their own case.
So she is the prosecution.
The judge. Is there a line or something, or?
Kind of a line. You see people. You see people like there's
Or people just waiting and called on.
Yeah, they're waiting and called on, and it seems like there's a schedule. Like each judgment takes 10 or 15 minutes, and people show up about probably the some of them show up immediately before their time. A couple of them have shown up late and get reprimanded for showing up late. But it's like there's a schedule that the people who are coming know beforehand.
Somebody keeping track of that?
She seems to be doing it all herself.
So there's nobody in the vicinity that would like pen and paper and taking notes or something.
Oh yes, there's a couple of clerks off to the side. Like as people are given a punishment, they write down the judgment, and then if the person has the money, like if it's a financial judgment, then the person can come up and pay there, and then they get a slip like a receipt. Otherwise, some of them like get remanded to custody. Nobody tries to flee from the gargantuan golden dragon for some reason.
Well, hey.
But yeah, there's definitely a couple of clerks and some officials and some guards around. You can ask if you want. That look like they're part of this, but they're not like talking to her. They're listening to what she says and then responding in various ways.
I want to find somebody who's not busy with the case and stuff like that, so I'm not interrupting the court.
Okay. You need you find human, female, middle age, like she's watching the proceedings from the side. She's wearing, I guess you'd call it clerk's clothes. But she's definitely watching from the side. But yeah, no, she seems to be at least aware of what's going on, and as you approach, she looks you over, nods at your group. Good morning.
Good morning. We wish to seek an audience with Magda and Natasha Center.
She
And Colin.
she blinks a whole lot. Okay, run that by me again.
I repeat exactly the same.
So okay, I will let Magda. You know who Natasha is, right? Please,
Yes.
please tell me you know who Natasha is.
Her mother?
Oh no.
No,
Not?
it's like not our friend right now.
What? Oh, then now I got it wrong in my notes.
So out of character.
Oh, yeah, out of character. Elena, I think then.
No,
Yeah,
Natasha.
Elena is the daughter.
Elena
Of
is the daughter
Natasha.
of Natasha. Natasha is the former ruler of this city. And is, as far as you are aware, unrelated, other than that she's a dragon, to Magda.
Well, and they're not friends because they had a little bit of a spat as Natasha's.
Yeah, Magda kind of kicked her out of the city.
Ah. I got my notes wrong then.
Okay. So you give the correct information. I'm hoping.
Um,
Or
we
what?
got
What?
sent, and with I'm informing about the undead that we want to. We're gonna have a raid on.
All right, I will let her know. Come by. She should have time. Around 5. She should have time around 5 if you come back. She usually gets through the afternoon meetings a little faster. So yeah, come back around 5. And I will let her know that you want to talk with her.
About an evil that is concerning us all.
She nods and smiles at you, not convinced that necessarily that you are on the up and up, but at least willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. And says, all right, my name... I need a name for her, actually. Brain fart. I have all these NPCs in my head that I'd never name. Settings. So not that. That. Generate. Nope. Okay, come on. How do I generate a name? Ha! Crescentia. Actually, that's a great name for her. She holds out a hand. Crescentia Grunwald. It's nice to meet you.
I nudge Urgal to shake her hand. Enter.
Sir, sorry, what?
I nudged you to shake her hand.
Oh no, I of course shake her hand. Sorry, I was taking notes.
All right.
Difficulty, but I'm still using pen and paper.
I can believe it. All right.
Let's find the library then, I guess.
All right. You, Horgold, and Hollock would know where the city library is. No problem.
But do you lead us there? Are you gonna go with us?
Yeah, we're going with you.
All right. So this is a large stone building. Upon entering the main hall, you realize that you don't see like the lights in here are magically lit. They can kind of Virtuos and Strix, give me a Arcana roll, please.
Can it be my divination roll 8 plus 7 for Arcana? That's 15.
Sure. Virtuos Arcana 19. You guys can get the definite sense as you enter this place that fire, like there is a heavy fire suppression spell in here, and this place is full of the smell of old paper and vellum and books and like there's definitely like
Smells just like home.
yeah, there's like pest wards, and this place is very well warded against things that might damage books. So
We like books. Why would we damage them?
Well, they don't know.
but the books
Just
don't know.
protected.
But yeah, there's the magical equivalent of a card catalog along one wall. Striggs, you are intimately familiar with how that works. Verdros, maybe, I think, probably also.
I'm a sage, so I
Yes.
went to libraries a lot as well.
This, for the two of you, this is probably the biggest library that you have been in years, and have realized that Horgold pointed out like 3 buildings that are the city library.
Well, we're gonna have a field day.
All right. What information are you guys trying to find, and who all is looking, and how are you looking?
I will be using Detect Magic for any magical books, specifically pertaining to undead and divination.
You're using the spell Detect Magic?
Yes.
Okay. You cast the spell Detect Magic and are immediately overwhelmed by the number of magical sources in this place.
That was expected.
Like,
Kind of.
there...
But that's how I'm used to look for specific stuff. So.
Right. So, the strongest... There's, like, abjuration all over this place. This definitely the strongest magic. And just everything. You think maybe a third of the books in this library are magical.
That's a lot.
Do you know the book that you're looking for? Do you really have it in your hands or something one time? Or know the title?
Did I? It's kind of weird, to be honest, because I was a librarian, but I'm not sure if Convergence had any books related to this kind of stuff.
Not that you remember, at the very least.
Sure.
All right.
I
Those
need
of
to-
you. All right. So, those of you familiar with the libraries, Voska and Striggs for sure. Tell me what information you're looking for, and then give me investigate. If you want to just kind of wander aimlessly, you can just give me a d20 luck roll. Anybody else who wants to do that? Otherwise, Horgol, Hollock, Grunthos, what are you guys gonna do?
And can it be for me my divination roll 19 plus my investigation, which is not high? It's actually 17, so 26.
Holy buckets, Batman. Okay. 26. That's going to get you some good information. How to fight undead, info on lich, things about City of Ook. Let's go with the reverse order of that. You are bored by books, so you're following Grunthos around and keep an eye on him. That seems wise. Like, really, really wise.
I think I'll do the same.
All right, Grunthos, you have 2 keepers following along behind you. What are you up to?
What can happen in a library, right?
I'm looking for Kevin.
Give me a D20 roll. Okay, so
There
Lich
can be a book.
sure, Virgeros, give me your investigate roll. Striggs, you rolled 26?
Can't I use my history roll instead?
Sure, you
Seeing
can use
as-
history.
What should I do?
You already gave me yours. All right, so 21 for Virgeros and 26 for Striggs. All right, and Grunthos, you spend hours wandering through this library, and you haven't seen a single other kobold in this entire time.
I keep an eye on the clock so we don't forget our appointment, though.
Yeah. So Striggs and Virgeros, you guys get together with one of those reading tables that libraries have in them. You each have a couple, like 2 or 3 volumes. Start reading through them. So history, Virgeros, Abu Al-Fahad. So you find a contemporary a book that was written contemporarily to when he was, or to when all of the stuff went down in Ook, talking about like maybe 5 years, probably not 5, probably 2 years after the fall of the city it was written. Yeah, talking about everything that they knew about Abu Al-Fahad at the time, or basically there's no implication in here that he is a lich, but he, they talk about him being a powerful necromancer and this being relatively new, like before he was banished from his king's court. He had never been known to dabble in the necromantic arts, but he was leading like an army of undead nasties when he came back into the city. And you kind of get an idea of like the composition, how he likes to form, at least how he did at that time, like to form an army of undead, like, how much cannon fodder he would use, and so, like sitting in like mixing in more powerful, like, skeleton mages in the midst of all of the rest of the skeletons to kind of act as not suckers, so the like points that help reinforce the line. And by the time the city fell,
His tactics.
Yeah, kind of his tactics, how he forms an army, how he directs an army, and like talking about how he would imbue some of his most powerful undead with the ability for them to also raise undead, so he didn't have to do all of the the battlefield work of repair and raising dead himself. So that you would think, what I'm getting out of this is, there will be key figures hidden amongst his armies that make his armies much stronger than they would be if those figures were removed. All right.
Darn generals.
Kind of generals, but a little more akin to really good sergeants, where it's in amongst the rank and file.
Yeah.
All right. Think about Sea of Ook with a 26. And I'll give you info about about liches as well.
I was looking for info about the lich as well.
All right. So between the two of you, you find we'll give you most of what's in the DMG, or not the DMG, the Monsters Manual. As far as generic liches, 2K lycanthropes, before lycanthropes. Lizard folk. Lamia after that. Lich. Haha. So liches are powerful spellcasters. They are even more powerful if you like fight them in their stronghold. So they cast a bunch of spells. If they strike you with their, like, they can paralyze with a touch. They are stronger than any undead that you guys have ever heard of. And you are under the impression that liches don't just get to become a lich. Wizards don't just get to become a lich because they want to. They have done something to themselves. They have done something horrible to kill themselves and risen as a lich, and there's like a very specific way they have to do it, and this is not knowledge that you can just go like read in the library. Paladins and clerics and wizards really are very good at making sure the methods to become a lich aren't written down somewhere, and liches themselves, or historically liches themselves, are very good at making sure that you can't just be a farmer and find a magic book that shows you how to do it. So at least at one point in his past, he had somebody teach him how to do this. And the books you find are talking about things like a demon or a devil or maybe an evil god. Might be how he learned this. But it's not just something you can go to your local magic mart and buy a book to figure out how to do.
Duh.
Right. A couple other things. They are kind of like vampires in that they need others to maintain their undeath. Although a vampire drinks blood to restore themselves, liches consume souls. So if a lich gets you, if you are killed in the strong or near a lich's like lair, there is a very real chance that they'll use a spell like Soul Trap, or they'll just keep you alive till they can drain your soul out of you and use it to power their phylactery. Their phylactery is nigh indestructible, but it does take basically souls to keep it going. Otherwise, lich will eventually evaporate into a demi-lich and become less intelligent, less powerful, and no longer need their phylactery.
So technically, if we could keep everyone away from the city of Ook that has a soul, after a certain amount of time, he would become a demi.
What about animals?
Animals don't, like, non-intelligent creatures do not have souls. It's not like he would subsist on the souls of beetles or something like that. But if he got you, it's not a bad plan, but he's not bound to a place. He could, travel the world and the seven seas. No.
Dimension door back to his phylactery.
Right. He could basically travel somewhere, kill somebody, trap their soul, and take it back with them. So it would be a good way to draw him, like if you were trying to draw him out of the city itself. But you don't know. There's nothing in here that tells you, does he need a soul a day, a soul a year, a soul a decade? There's nothing in any of the books that tell you, like, other than they use souls to power their phylactery. There's nothing that tells you how much they need, how often.
Great.
What was the other thing? Oh, the city of Ook. So
Just a,
yep.
so I'm sorry. Just a quick question on the Lich. Is there anything in there about weaknesses?
Um, so they are weak to many of the things that other undead are weak to: holy water, radiant energy, that sort of thing. They are resistant to things like being turning, like undead turning or that sort of thing, just because they have such a strong will. So you're not gonna a paladin could possibly turn a lich and cause it to flee for a time, but it would have to be a very powerful paladin and would have to get kind of lucky.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, things like radiant damage. All undead hate radiant damage. Holy water, all that sort of fun anti-undead stuff works.
All right. Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's perfectly fine. All right, there were other questions. It's the first one of those holoc. Abu al Fahad, Fahad. That was the information on liches. The city of Ook itself is a city before it fell was probably 50 or 60,000 people. Was a trade hub and kingdom for, like seat of government for the kingdom of Ook. It's located right along an ocean, fairly strong city walls, good, like, it was a shining jewel of the southern continent before it became a corrupted cesspit of undead nastiness. There's like 60,000 people, which is or was a large city, 200 years ago when it first fell.
What about a map or anything or something like that? Specific parts or
Yeah,
just
there
thing
you
itself?
find a rough map of the city. Not like a street by street map, but definitely this is where the government, the palace was, and this is where the docks are, and that sort of thing. And speaking of, nope, that's not the right one.
Can I copy it down before we go back? Anyway?
Give me a
I have cartographer tools,
there
but
you go. Give me your cartography roll.
but I don't have proficiency in it, so it's kind of weird. Which attribute would I use for it?
It's intelligence.
Oh, really?
Yes. For cartography? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you'll have to minus 3 it, because I can't for some get the proficiency up. Well, it's a crit fail.
All right, so you don't get this map, but if you look at the stream, this is the map that you guys see for the city of Ook. And kind of in the center here is the palace. And then like up this part of the town is described as like shanty towns. And this part over here is described as like more middle class, or you're not 100% sure type living. And then just various shanty type buildings on the outside of the city. The city, you think, or you read in your history that it was going through a massive growth before it fell, and so there was like not enough not enough housing, which is why the shanty towns grew up around the outside of the city, out in what was once farm fields. But yes, this center plaza, right kind of in the middle of town, and a lot of the buildings around it are the original like palace grounds.
By
Uh-huh.
shanty, you need slum.
Slum, yes. All right, and then yeah, you rolled. You said you rolled a natural 1.
Yes.
Okay.
If I had advantage, it was a crit, but nope.
Just perfect, and didn't help.
Indeed.
You copy down something that looks right to you. And everybody else who's looking at it right now is like, oh yeah, that seems right. But make note that your map is not great. You have a map, it's not great. Using that map will allow you to make like a roll on finding your way through the city. Like you can make that roll, but you will have disadvantage. So better than not being able to make a roll, but
Last thing is about how to fight undead stuff.
same radiant energy,
Yeah.
paladins, clerics of good gods, holy water, that sort of fun stuff. All right. So it about the time you're done finishing up your map, Grunthos, you're back out in front of the place, and nobody has told you where Kevin is in the entire time that you've been in here. But with Horgold and Hollock following along behind you, they've prevented you from accosting anybody or damaging anything. So you guys are all back out. It's probably 4:30.
I say to Gruntos, no worries, we'll find them eventually.
All right.
Okay, let's head back to the
Council.
government district.
All right. You guys were already in the government district, but you head back to the field, practice field. And you get up probably 4:45. And Magda is talking to somebody kind of off to the side. And you see
Still in dragon form?
she's still in dragon form, which is she's an impressive figure. You guys see Crescentia head when Crescenta spots you guys approaching, and she heads over to Magda and like points you out to her. And you all feel the gaze of a dragon who is way bigger than anything should exist. Like an animal this size should not be able to move as fluidly as she does. But you see her turn her head toward you, and feel her gaze fall upon you. And she kind of nods to you all and says, "Please approach."
Yeah, I slowly approach.
Yep.
Right.
They're probably smaller.
So as you guys approach, you realize that up until now you had her scale wrong, because she was further away from you than you realized, and people tended to not approach her too closely at court. She like, as you're walking towards her, you realize that like the entire sense of scale was out of whack, and she's just enormous. She's bigger than buildings, or she's bigger than a building, or she is the size of a building. And like her head is 12 feet long almost. Eyes giant. As you guys approach, She takes a breath in, and then she starts.
Oh no. Presentation. No, I'm joking.
And she kind of cocks her head to the side and says, "Fey touched. Interesting. All right. Well, follow me." And she gets up off of her pile of gold, or not gold, her pile of brass. And she begins walking back toward the back edge of this field. And as she's walking, she's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And by the time she comes to a building behind this field, she is both human-sized and shaped, and she enters through a door in this building.
Well, let's follow her. Start walking.
Yeah, I walk around
like-
the pile of brass and follow her.
Oh yeah.
So the pile of brass is, so she's it's probably as far as you can tell, it's about 4 feet high, 25-ish feet wide, maybe 35 or 40 feet long. There is an uncountable amount of money here. There's like gems and jewels and rings and baubles and coins and everything mixed into this. How foolish are you? Does anybody try to take any?
I don't care. So no.
It's a dragon.
Yeah, I
Never
don't take
touch
anything.
never touch coins from a dragon.
I've got what I need and want, so
Especially gold dragons, by the way.
Maybe you can ask if she knows someone who goes by the name of Kevin.
I was about to say I'm more concerned if Kevin might be hiding it.
All right, so you guys
God damn it.
you guys follow along. The door opens easily for you. This enters into a nice room, like a sitting room type place. It's a mixture. You'd think it'd be a foyer, but it's got chairs and stuff in it. And she basically waits for you to enter, and then moves around. You realize there's a small desk at one side of the room, with an array of chairs in front of it, and she kind of motions you guys toward the chairs, and then sits down at the desk. There's probably 3 chairs arrayed in front of this desk, human-sized and shaped. So, Fey touched. I hear you have plans? Crescentia wasn't too clear other than saying that I should talk to you.
Well, we have a quest to kill a leech in the city
Leech?
of Uke. Lynch.
Yes.
By the name of Abu
Abu.
Alfad.
You want to kill Abu.
Yes.
So I would warn you, you would not be the first to try, and none before you have succeeded.
And that's the reason why we're here. We're not foolish enough to go alone.
She
Go
or
into
with
it.
this group.
grins at you with entirely too many teeth.
And if someone would have succeeded before, we wouldn't be here.
Fair. You have a good point. So you want to take on Abu, which is a noble and just thing to do. I guess that raises the question: why are you here, and why are you wanting to talk to me?
We're seeking armies and troops from different countries or sides and stuff like that, just to make sure that we kill something evil that is bothering us all.
She eyebrows a little bit, and so what does Natasha have to do with all this? Because her name was mentioned to me.
She wants the leech also dead, so she can maybe claim that land for her own. We're not sure about her intentions, but she wants him dead.
I mean, I'm interjecting. It would definitely be better than Lich having control of the city. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Natasha is many things, but a lich she is not. That I will agree with you. She sighs heavily. Not too far in the past, there was a war fought for this land. But it is possible it is far enough in the past that an army could be raised. It would not be a fast thing to do. I couldn't raise an army tomorrow. The city does not rally to my flag to that extent. The city is its own beast as much as I am.
You wouldn't have expected such a thing. I mean, you need your people to be happy as well and not drill them to the ground.
And besides, we're not ready to go there right now, this instant as well.
That's why we came first to you to maybe set up some friendly relations, and maybe we could help each other.
So think you me noble do you think I am noble enough to do what you wish for no other reason than to rid the world of a great evil?
Think about the trades you can make with the new city of Ook, with which incomes that will be for your city.
She chuckles. As much as I like this city, I am the sort of person who, given the chance to kill that great evil beast, or that great evil man, she actually would call him a man, that would be enough. But even as powerful as I am, I have never felt confident in my ability to take him on. I have lost many human, elf, half friends over the years, as they tried to drive the city of Ook back into its borders. So yes, you need not raise the prospect of wealth with me. The city would love me if I added more wealth to them, but there are bigger things at play here. So yes, I will work with your dragon friend, Natasha, to help raise an army. I will speak to my counselors and my ambassadors to help raise armies in the surrounding land. Kartuk may be willing to help out. They may need more convincing than I am able to give them. But if all else fails, mercenaries can be bought with coin, and they are some of the best fighters. So
if you got any tips for us where we can help convince the city or the guards, or the mercenaries even, or seek out new alliances, then we're happy to seek those.
I tell you what, go to the city of Kartuk. Ask for a half-elf named Lephalis, or Lai, as she is often referenced. Ask in the dark places behind the bars. If you find her, she might be able to turn the kingdom there to you more strongly than anybody else could. But other than that, she sniffs again. I do have to wonder, though, what the Fae have to do with all this.
Quick question: does my character know about the Fae being divination wizard?
You would know. You would be familiar with Fae as a type of creature. So I don't know how familiar you would be with the Fae. I don't think you've ever been to the Feywild, likely.
I thought that had to do with dream stuff.
Yeah. Oh, right. You did join in on the dream. So the dream that you guys shared of the assault on Ook.
Dungeon there.
Yeah, the lair there. Definitely Strigs fit the feel of Fae for what you've read described before. But that's about as much as you know.
We had about a weird dream about the assault on Ook a while ago. I tell I mean, I don't know any particular Fae, but I do know that they have something to do with those kinds of dreams.
Her eyebrow raises just a little bit higher. Interesting. So the Fae are helping out. That's always, or at least they think they're helping out. It's always be careful with the information that Fae give. It always comes with a string attached, and possibly is not as. It is always entirely truthful, but it is not always entirely honest.
They play their own game, I guess.
Yeah. She smiles a little bit, entirely too many teeth in her mouth, and says, dragons and Fae mix as well as oil and water. We do not like each other very much, but you shake us vigorously and put a few humans in the mix, and you get a salad dressing. I think my metaphor has wandered off a little bit. The point is, dragons in the history of our peoples, she indicates herself. We fought to reduce the influence of the Fae upon peoples. And as a cruel joke, she gestures at Grunthos, other peoples were made to be the imitation of us in small form, to be the servants of the Fae. But as anything goes, that is in the long past history. While I do not have a trust for the Fae and those who associate with them, you come bearing not the name of a Fae patron, but of Natasha herself, and her I trust more than a Fae at the very least.
Do I or my character know if a gold dragon is linked to
What you know about gold dragons is they are, yes, fire. And they are the probably the most noble of the dragon. So historically, gold dragons help people in the time of their most need. They are noble without being haughty generally. So silver dragons are every bit as noble as a gold dragon, but every bit as haughty as any human knight that ever existed.
Okay. Well, it might interest you. I told Natasha as well. But the night we left Natasha's lair to travel to Orkland before we get, I had this dream, and it seems to be I was the only one. Also about the city of Oak, but I was standing outside of it, at a great distance away, and I saw a beam of fire coming down. Assuming you're also quite specialized in fire magic, but for some reason, it got shielded by the city, and a great ray of seemed like necrotic energy beamed up, and I heard a great roar. So it might be interesting for you to know as well.
So dreams and portents are always important, but they, in my experience, are never. There is always the section of truth in them, but they are not always the truth that becomes true.
Indeed,
But
and I kind of want to let you know.
I thank you for your information. If I find myself flying over Ook, thinking to breathe fire down upon a lowly necromancer at the city below, I will mind my thoughts and remember what you have said.
Okay, good. It's always better to be more careful than to just go and straight head first.
She reaches into her cloak and pulls out a notepad and a like a sheaf of paper bound at one side and a pen, quill, and hands it to whoever would take it. This will be the best way to contact me. I will know when a message has been written on these sheets, and I can respond back through them. Please keep them safe. I do not give I do not give these out lightly. Please keep them somewhere safe and protected. I do not want them to fall into the hands of a child and have them write puppy 800 times on them, because that would be annoying and has happened in the past.
I'll accept it and I'll bind it together with my spell book in my binding.
She smiles at you all and says, "All right, please feel that, or please know that your faces are now known. In the city, you will be guarded as well." She smiles at Hollick. "I guess one of you was a guard, as if you were one of the guard's own. The city services are open to you. Have you a need? And I have an army to raise. And you said you're not. The plan. It will be months before I can raise one."
Can I share her that it's best to kill the undead in, what was it, the month before Jet?
The winter months, yes.
Yeah. So I'll at least share that. At least if she didn't know already, I'm not one to impose that she didn't know.
She smiles. "All right, we will shoot for the end of the year then."
And if it's not enough time, we might postpone it to next year. I mean, he's already been there for a couple of 100 years, so
I don't think
1
he's
year
going
more.
anywhere.
Yeah.
She stands up, offers her hand to each of you. Her grip is cool and dry and firm without being like she's not glad handing you. She's not doing any sort of handshake trick. She's just shaking your hands. Striggs and Grunthos. Her hand fits yours better than it ought, given her human size.
Weird, but I'll bow afterwards before we leave.
All right. As you guys leave this place, you guys, the air outside of that room is just a little bit less sweet than the air was inside. It's a nice spring day outside. It's not raining, it's not humid. It's a wonderful day. But you realize just being in her presence is kind of calming and comforting in a very surprising way. And you realize that you have felt that way pretty much ever since you got close to her, and you think it's one of just her traits as a dragon. Like she emits a sense of calm and comfort.
Not like a charm thing.
Kind of not like a charm thing, but kind of like a charm thing. It's not a compulsion, but it's definitely it's like a place that you grew up, that is like the place that you just left felt as homey as if it was your childhood home. All right. It is probably 5:30 now. There's a few clerks hanging around, just kind of chatting. Everybody else is kind of spread out for the day. You see this pile of brass has like blankets laying over top of it, but like not there's nobody there like putting it away. It just has some like it's not like a tarp laying over the thing, kind of protecting it.
Well, time to get some food, I guess. It's
Yeah.
in the evening. Yeah, it is in the evening.
Yep, it's supper time.
Let's first take an aperitif.
All right.
Horgold, do we go back to the same thing in?
Maybe ask Grantos.
Well, we could go a little bit more luxurious if we want to.
Where's Kevin and where's the bustle that attacked me?
All right. You guys find a place to eat for the evening. With a little bit of help from Horgold, it is a lovely like 3-course meal with soup and salad and whatever roast meat you guys would want. The evening wears on, and I think we will pick up again next week from here. So thank you, everybody, for playing. Thanks you all, everybody who's been watching. We will start again. We will come back again next week at 2:00, 2 hours previous to now, 7 days from now. So thank you everybody for watching. It has been great having you here. Bye.